live, man. I would love to see it. I'm
All
sure I'll see it
right.
during the show.
And we're live. Welcome to
Oh,
paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Glad you are here. We have a very special guest. Anthony Vella is with us. And he's actually in Southern California. Pretty awesome. Awesome. Blossom. You're also joined by Nick Fasakis, Craig Taylor in moderation. Sean Nafsker is also in moderation. Thank you, guys. I'm glad that you're logging in. If you're in the chat right now, you are amazing people. You are the reason for the show. And so as you're logging in, I want to just encourage you to do one thing. Just say, hey, Sean, in the chat so that your name gets
thanks.
put in the spinny wheel of Winnie things, because we have a very special giveaway tonight. Wicked Wings logo is sponsoring a very special gift. And you'll find out at some point during this episode of paraglidingtalk.com. We have just a quick order of business. This show is sponsored by a very special group of people from PPG Zone. It's a tough one, tongue twister. PPGZone.com. Josh Perry, he created this social media outlet for everyone to enjoy. And I like it. It's pretty cool. Go check out the website. It's ppgzone.com, and then go create yourself a profile. Take a picture, drop it on there, and troll your life away. It is great fun. You can comment on videos. You can drop your own videos. You can put pictures and posts, and it's just like an alternative. And it's just for us para folks, or para people if you're a P person. This show is also brought to you by Midwest Parajet. Go check out their website, midwestparajet.com. Stephen Reed, he was on the show not too long ago. Amazing human being. Reach out to him if you've got questions about Parajet stuff. He's an awesome guy. By the way, I can't tell you all the little secret things that he does in the background, but he's an amazing person. And so you need to follow those guys. MidwestParajet.com's website. Also, you want to talk about giveaways. Amazing. PBG Smoke is coming out with all kinds of cool stuff, right? But recently came out with these headphones.
Oh, yeah.
Got to try them. They're amazing. And they got even revised one more time. And so he's getting ready to pop those things out. I'm not sure when they're coming out. I think in the next few years. I don't know. Who cares? He is giving away a motor if 100 people sign up, and then if 150 people sign up to pre-order the headphones. So he's going to give away a Simonini motor, just the motor. Don't get too excited. It's just the motor. And then I think it's a 125. Is that right, guys? You fact check me on that. I always forget. I don't know that. I don't know enough about those. PPG Smoke. I have it in my notes. But anyways, I did this last time. Should have wrote it down. I wasn't very good in school, guys. I'm just letting you know. And so, anyways, pretty amazing deal. So if you want to get your name and the spinning wheel of Winnie things for that, you got to pre-order the headset. They're not cheap. They're like $435, but
they are cool.
The price is going up as soon as that last version is done, and they're starting to mass produce them. They'd be a little more expensive than that, but they are really nice. You're going to love them. So the website is ppgsmoke.com. Tell Ryan that that's where you found it was on paraglidingtalk.com, just to do it. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of work that in there. Also, I want to mention paramotorprops.com. If you blow up a prop, you want a really good deal on a prop, go check out their website, paramotorprops.com. Anthony Vella, so glad you're here, man.
Hey, thank you. Dude,
amazing human being.
It's so funny, like, listening to your intro, because I'm like telling myself, I feel like it's just another night where I'm watching the show. And
nice.
It's so cool to get to actually be here hanging out with you guys. So thank you for having me.
I'm very grateful that you said, okay, I know you're with family and you should be spending time with them, and you're going to burn up an hour at least just chatting with us, para people.
Hey, but all of us here who are watching this have two families. We have our, of course, family at home, and we have our paramotor paragliding family. So,
yeah,
I mean, this is the best place to be aside from with my actual family.
Yeah.
They let me have this family as well.
Yep. You know, it's funny. I thought Craig Taylor earlier in the show was in a prison cell, but now Nick Fasakis is in a prison cell, a dirty one.
Yeah, I just got done flying earlier.
Oh, nice. So I wanted to open up the show by talking about some of your recent adventures. And
Wow.
I do want to mention, everybody, if you're just logging on, go check out his new YouTube channel. It's associated with the show, the Paramotor Podcast Show. So if that's just a podcast, but now you can watch some video. There'll be some content also mixed in. And it's not all this fluff editing like professional nonsense. It's just real deal, really good stuff.
Hey,
It's the real Anthony Vella. So
thank you.
yeah. So anyways, go check that out. I didn't put a link in the description, but you can find it. Anthony Vella. If you search Anthony Vella, it's funny. I did a little search and there's some funny stuff on there. There's some doctors that are named Anthony Vella.
Yeah, there
interesting.
are.
LinkedIn. Like, oh, I'm gonna check out all these people. Anyways, I want to talk about your recent adventures, and specifically, I want to just real quick talk to you about you had an event recently with a motor popping a spark plug out, and I'm like, what in the world? How did the spark plug? Can you imagine how much force it would take to pull a spark plug directly out? So please tell us how in the world that happened, and take us through what you learned.
Yeah. First and foremost, the entire community of individuals, 99.9% of them are very supportive and constructive criticism, and they're so kind. But also, in all seriousness, the majority of people who watch my videos are more mechanically intelligent than I am. So when I post a video and I inquire, like I'm like reaching out to the community, like what happened? The spark plug, from what I've gathered so far, may have like vibrated loose on the dirt road that I was riding. I took the motorhome, the paramotor home, out to this remote location on a very bumpy dirt road. And ultimately, I imagine that at some point the spark plug may have gotten loosened just enough to, and if somebody's in the comments can like comment and tell me I'm full of it. I really don't know. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. I think perhaps the fuel to air mixture may have gotten off, and then Todd Scott, a subscriber and somebody else in the paramotor community, said that if the fuel is ignited at the wrong time, it can create such a pressure above the piston that it could do what actually happened and blow the spark plug out of the cylinder head and strip the threads like clean out, which is what happened. So
do you think it's possible that that you were cross-threaded, that you put
I don't think so. So, and the reason I say that is
mechanically
because
sound?
No, not
so
me.
Do you think it's possible that you cranked it and it was just didn't go in all the way? Because when you put that you can screw it in by hand almost all the way, and then it's just that last.
Well, I don't know. I'm currently.
That's a tough question. I need to know.
I was going to make an inappropriate, like I was just going to say I'm 210 pounds of twisted steel and sex steel as a joke, and say maybe when I was tightening it, I just like cranked it down or cross-threaded it potentially.
Okay.
But I really don't think so. And the reason I don't believe that was what took place is because my gravity paramotor is like really new. And the spark plug is how basically it's been since the beginning. I just checked to make sure it was tight, basically Guten tight, and it was. I mean, it was real. Sometimes I'll back it off and then retighten it, but I don't think I was cross threading it. So just because I hadn't exchanged spark plugs, and I don't believe I've taken that spark plug all the way out. Is it possible? I'm sure it's possible, but hey, check that out. Yeah, that's the new channel where I took it apart and did some of that basic paramotor maintenance stuff. Basically, so the guys over at Gravity were really cool, and they sent me out a new cylinder head really quickly. And so I haven't actually gone on the next flight since then, or since making the repairs. But I have my paramotor and I'm in California. I might go to the beach, even though I'm not a big fan of beach flying, but it's the safest place I think that I can, take the paramotor back up to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. So I don't know.
You inspired
prop are you
me.
using?
Oh, sorry.
The
What prop-
propeller?
Yeah.
That's the Glider Sports propeller. It's a 130 centimeter propeller.
It's a
Just
valid
wondering.
question.
Yeah, just wondering because AJ Goen had that happen to him twice, and I'm not 100% positive, but I think they deemed it to be the propeller he was using.
So think of this for a second. The propeller can possibly create the perfect vibration to cause
it to back off.
Yeah.
The pitch, the
harmonics,
the harmonics,
right? The frequency.
Yeah.
Yep. That's insane. So
that's it.
So let's reel this in, right? How important it is that we check that one thing. 2, you should probably have a extra spark plug with you. So that's what I did. You inspired me to buy an extra spark plug and I put it in my setup.
Hey, that's good stuff.
Thank you.
You bet. Yeah. No, but that was it was unfortunate because the portability of paramotors is so awesome. I've been looking into ultralights recently. Like there's a whole huge world of ultralights out there, like the Aerolite 103, there's the CGS Hawks and the Quicksilvers and all these cool Part 103 ultralights. But as neat as those are in their very unique way, like I actually plan on doing some ultralight podcasts on the Paramotor podcast. It's insane.
Nice.
It doesn't even make sense. But I'm like, I bet you'll be interested in hearing about ultralights just as much as paragliding or paramotoring. Anyways, going out to these remote locations is like there's nothing equivalent to a paramotor in the sense of like portability. But yeah, good lesson to be learned. Check your spark plug when you get there. I don't know.
Your spark plug. I was inspired. Once I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that stuff. And we get all fired up and we want to go fly. Oh, the other thing I recently bought was is it a Newton meter torque wrench?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
I got one because I want to make sure that it's all dialed.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the adventure. A lot of times we talk about, okay, I'm going to go, for example, the best adventure race on the planet is this is my opinion, by the way, is the Red Bull X Alps, flying 1,000 kilometers from Salzburg to Monaco across the Alps. And you run, fly, hike, or whatever, slide down the mountain to get to try to win. And that's a huge adventure. There's also, and that's free flight. On the motor side, there's also this great adventure. And now I've just barely cracked this door open to look at it. Talk about your adventure. And what I'm interested in is your perspective from behind the lens mixed with your paramotoring.
Oh boy. When it comes to just adventures in general, I suppose.
Yeah, because you have a really good eye, and your photography and your filmography, if that's even a word. I think I just made that up. Your filmography is amazing.
Hey, thank you. I think it's a word. So when it comes to like filming, like first and foremost, I hope it's known that filming will always complicate the flying process. And to be honest, it takes away a little bit from being able to fully immerse yourself in flying. And that goes for anybody. But I think a lot of people all have a similar mindset when they go about filming their flights. And so for me, when I film, like I fully do it with the intention, and I always have the intention of hoping to bring somebody else into the sport. Like I'm currently working on this new video, which fortunately doesn't involve flying. But every video, including those when I go on these little adventures, is just to, I suppose, try and open up the curiosity of those individuals out there who are wanting to get into flying. And then from a filming aspect, gosh, there's several examples where I imagine myself sitting on the receiving end of YouTube watching a paramotoring video and think beyond the flight itself, because there's so much more to paramotoring than the flying, right? Sometimes it's like all the crazy messes I find myself in. And if I have my camera, like I try to, if I was to evaluate myself, I would assume that I'm the sort of individual who shares the good, bad, and the ugly, and that by sharing all of those things, it makes it beautiful. Like, just, it's natural. I mean, I'm pretty bad. Like, I mean, I'm not very, I'm not the best example of a paramotor pilot. But I do think I fall into like the average, perhaps more relatable, aside from me being like psychotic energetic at times. The things that I do with my paramotor, I think, are things that people might want to do, like go find a geocache, which was like 20 miles away from our field.
That was awesome.
And then breaking the paramotor when I tried to get back out of there. But I think one of the comments, and it's weird, as a YouTuber, it's not one way. Like, I don't just always profess. I learn so much from the comments, which is the best part. Like,
trolls,
getting to interact. Oh yeah, they're my favorite, dude.
Right out from under the bridge. Like,
yeah. Oh wow. Oh, Anthony Vella posted a new video. Well, bam, thumbs down.
Thumbs down. I've got something I want to say.
Yeah. No. But from a videographer's perspective, I think it's about like whenever anybody like asks about like filming their own paramotoring adventures, that it like ultimately comes down to trying to make the person feel as if they were there, so that they can understand maybe more what it's like, rather than just the massive amount of flying videos that are on there. Like for you, when you go paragliding, I just love the drive up to the hills and the talking and socializing with friends, because that's what it's all about.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Speaking of trolling, Jack Bird, he said, let's start by asking Vella why he still has my Unity headset. And we'll just move right on from that question.
What?
He said, ask Anthony Vella. Yeah. Oh, it's gone now. I'm serious. It disappeared. It must be too deep in the old chat. But thank you for that contribution of $5 to the super chat. You were amazing, Jack.
Yeah, that headset is actually super sweet. I did send it back to Robert so they could continue doing testing.
Yeah,
and it is so cool. Yeah, yep. The microphone. Yeah. By the way, if I may, can I share like, because I get asked the question so much, and sometimes I forget to make a video on it. But if individuals out there are looking to like be able to record their own videos, let's say you feel inspired by myself, Ryan, anybody else, Tucker, Kylo Glee, and you want to film your own, what I like about that Unity headset so much is that it's like plug and play. Like, you don't have, for me, I'm not like technologically advanced. I somehow managed to figure out how to connect the GoPros and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But the concept that Ryan Roberts has with this is basically out of the box. You plug it into your GoPro and you can record with narration. And I think that's a really important component when it comes to videography and paramotoring, is the ability to narrate flights and explain. Like, if your mother's watching it, your mother might like tune out and be like, oh my gosh, another flying video. But
she would never say that. She's watching right now.
Oh, hello, Linda. But if you were had the ability to just like candidly explain what you're doing, it's like, oh my gosh, audience retention goes like way up. Oh, horrible fact, has nothing to do with paramotoring.
I think it's amazing. The headset's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
DP donated $10 to the super chat. Alms for the poor. Thank you, DP. Very kind of you. I just snatched the $10 put in my pocket. Jim Furman. There's so much going on here. Alejandro Cortez donated $5 to the super chat. Hey, Robert, all the best. Midwest Parajet, Scott and Steve are the best. Yes, they are. By the way, we're going to have Scott on the show at some point. We had Scott and Steve at the same time. That was a great show. Crazy Uncle Bob just donated $5. Racing with Paramotors just donated $5 for Tony Smile. Where are you going? Did you just fall down? You okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
kid just attacked me, my son.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's your child.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
He's pulling
What
on
do
your
they
foot
say?
right now.
What do they say? Like your children are your parents' like greatest revenge. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Oh my gosh, man. I was so energetic as a kid. And now my dad, every time I show back up at home, he's like, ha, 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 revenge.
Yeah, my dad does the same
yeah.
thing. By the way, this show is brought to you by Para Orange Products. If you are interested in getting protection for your paramotor or your props, maybe you want to buy a windsock or a long streamer. Mom donated $10 to the super chat. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate that. They have all kinds of great stuff for your paramotoring needs. Go check out paraorangeproducts.com. Also, the show is brought to you by American Ally. This is a very special sponsor, by the way. And if you're in sunny Southern California and you have plumbing issues, this is a real sponsor, guys. All the other ones are just like, oh, they're groupies. They love the show or whatever. But this one, they could care less about the show. They're legitimately advertising on the show. They're amazing. It's American Ally, American Ally Drains and Plumbing. If you're in the San Diego area, especially, and you're in need of plumbing, American Ally Drains and is your company. Their phone number is 844-777-9055. And you get a 10% discount if you mention paraglidingtalk.com. But you have to say it the right way, and you know how to say it, right?
Paraglidingtalk.com.
That's right. You got it. Amazing. By the way, you brought a big crowd tonight, Anthony. There's 112 people watching. Right
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. In less
Yep.
than 15 minutes, we were at 100 in the wheel.
Yeah. That's craziness. Yeah.
Robert.
Flying Beer Man. He donated $5 to the super chat, and he said it's for the Flying Fund. Thank you, kind sir. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
That would be a gallon of gas there, sir.
I wasn't going to say it, but that is exactly what the price is creeping up. I paid $4.40 for premium gas the other day.
No, I'm feeling it all the way here in Ohio, Robert. Yeah.
Just good. Who can tax the sunrise? Tell you to behave. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your progression. And
Cool.
you've done a few things. Let me just ask this question. Are you a safer pilot now than you were 1 year ago?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And that,
yeah,
that question's for everybody who's watching, by the way. Are you a better pilot than you were 1 year ago? A safer pilot?
Yeah. Leave it down below. Let them know, yes or no. Are you a better pilot, safer pilot than you were before? For me, the answer is yes. I just think naturally, after making mistakes, I mean, you either learn from the mistake or you don't learn from the mistake. And in the pre-show, you and I spoke, and as of recently, coincidentally, I should say, in recent days, without filming, I have made several critical errors flying my paramotor. I mean, because the spark plug thing, I don't really consider to be like an error, but I made, oh man, I said I wasn't going to talk about this. I had a pretty flipping bad wreck. And if, I don't know if Clint Chamalis or any of the other people at the field that were standing there watching me, picking me up. And I actually, my beautiful dudek warp, cut up some lines. Amazingly, the Gravity Defiant I broke the net I broke one spar. I just got those in the mail, popped them back together. However, like I got pretty hurt and was like laid up for about a week. And yeah, I flew into a wall is basically what it was.
What in the world?
Yeah, and this was
Exclusive
following,
information tonight.
oh my gosh, I can't believe I just told you guys that. I'm so ashamed. Like seriously, I 18-meter warp, 4,000 feet. Not the best time of day. Obviously, when it comes to paramotoring, we're looking for more times in the evening once those thermals subside and the air calms down. However, on this day, it was, you go over to the Windy app, you look at the forecast, you see, oh my gosh, today's one of those days where it's just like right there between 5 and 10 all day, consistently, same direction, the best direction. But then you've got this sun that you deal with. And the sun says, I don't care what Windy says. I'm gonna throw some thermals your way, and I might hit you with the old switcheroo once your glider comes up on takeoff. And that's basically what happened on this glorious day.
Was it in the backyard park?
Yeah. It was in the park that
so you
is
hit
right by the
neighbor's
house.
wall.
No, I hit the park wall.
Oh,
it's a rock wall. For any of you who've been to El Paso, Sean, Nick, I know you're, co-hosting tonight.
That wall is brutal.
That wall, I ate that wall. Ask me what that wall tastes like. No, seriously.
And it seemed like hard granola bars.
Yeah, like rock
salt.
Grittier.
Yeah. So you literally got hurt. What? Did you break anything?
No, I thought I broke. God, I sound so
his pride.
Weak. My pride was broken, shattered. Yeah, no. Seriously, yeah. I thought there was a possibility that I had like some sort of a boxer fracture to my fist. I was a medic in the Army, and frequently soldiers would get into fights. Sometimes they'd break their hands, and I would see them for this in the medical clinic. Ultimately, I figured that would be the case because I was having a really hard time clenching my hand, and there's still a red mark. This was like a couple months ago. Wow. But my hand, because I was holding the throttle. Oh, okay. I'll walk you through what happened. Sorry, I apologize for my energy levels. It's just the way I am. So I pulled the glider up. I was watching the windsock consistently. It was a headwind. So I had the glider laid out. It was ideal. And I'm sure you can comment down below where my critical error was in judgment. I pulled the glider up. Oh my God, I sound like such a fool. I pulled the glider up and I just roll onto power. And were you there, Sean? No. You weren't there. Nope. It was David Carroll and just everybody else who's a local flyer. And I volunteered. I said, I'll be the first to go because everybody else was like, oh man, I don't know. The wind keeps switching. But I felt like it was consistently out of, a headwind for long enough that I pulled the glider up. And then, of course, what happens when you think you have it all configured and ready to go is the wind made a complete 180. A thermal was passing the field. And so I'm sprinting as hard as I can with an 18-meter glider at 4,000 feet. As you can imagine, super fast, hot glider. I pick up my feet. Error number one. I picked up my feet and I'm like flying. I'm flying without an inch of climb. Like I'm not going up at all. I'm just barely skimming the ground for like a very long period of time. And then I hit sink. Then all of a sudden I'm in some sort of funky sink and the cage is like about to hit the ground. So I put the landing gear on, I put my legs down really quickly. And now I'm running, but I see this rock wall coming up. Oh, no. Oh my God, please don't hit me in the comments. I see this rock wall coming up and with horrible judgment, I said, full send, baby, full send. We're going for it. And, no. And I full sent it right into that wall with my feet up and like my shoes got like ripped to shreds. Because the first thing I did is I stuck my legs out. I was like, yep, definitely not clearing the wall. That was my last thought. Stick my legs out. My shoes got all ripped apart. My toes were bloody from hitting the wall. I mean, it was painful. And then of course Clint Chamales, what a hero, came running up with his cell phone and said, "I got it on camera." And I'm like, "Oh." and then he helped me up. So, and Kyle, you know, some of the friends that I fly with, like, you know, they patted me on the back and said, "That was a good college effort you had there."
Do you have the video?
I don't. You know what? I don't know if I'm supposed to repeat the chaos of this evening flight, but 3 people had really bad incidents. 3 of the 5 individuals flying. Oh my gosh, dude, everybody, I wish I could tell you what Clint did, but out of respect for Clint, it was hilarious, and it's amazing he didn't get hurt. But yeah, have Clint on the show. Clint on the show and say, "Clint, you know what you need to do. Tell us what happened that fateful day."
Clint he's one of the bad kids. My parents warned me about him, and they just won't let me hang out with him, but I'll sneak him out.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Here's a good
Yes,
question.
sir.
Would you say that day would have been a questionable day to fly, as there were so many of that particular day, so many things that came up, so many problems? Was it necessarily the conditions, or do you think it was the wing?
Man, oh yeah. Great question. Oh my gosh, why not turn this into a learning opportunity? There are certainly several factors that could have entirely prevented the situation. First and foremost, my judgment. My judgment could have prevented it entirely, and that's the lesson everybody ought to take away is just stop and go reset your glider. I mean, just wait until it feels right. Don't try and show off to your friends. I'm like, "Hey, look at me! I'm on my 18-meter glider. Check this out." But so judgment was the first issue. Secondly, an 18-meter, you know, versus my 23-meter, which is still overloaded. If you know, for the Dudek Universal, I was still heavy on it. However, the distance for takeoff is significantly shorter than an 18-meter warp. I mean, you have those days where even on an 18-meter glider with an Atom 80, the thing will just surprise you and you'll take off in like 10 steps and you're like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, there's not that much wind. But maybe density altitude factors into that to create the short takeoff that you may occasionally get. And other days, it doesn't work that well. However, one thing is for certain, you'll always be in the air faster on a 23-meter intermediate glider than you would on a 18-meter, significantly smaller surface area, you know, material on the airfoil. It's going to require a lot more lift because it's a lot more heavily loaded, which requires a lot more speed. Bad decisions.
Well, that field, that area of the LZ that you guys have is a very funky area. I mean, it really, sure, the winds are really weird out there.
And it caught you off guard as well, because Sean, you came out to the field, and regretfully you didn't bring Robert Michaels, but
I feel like
I
feel like I need to go now.
You really should. You really should. You should have a paraglidingtalk.com para trip where we go down and visit the Vellas.
Dude, so
right now
I will accommodate it however I can.
It's calling beep boop 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 boop. I'm calculating right now.
Like Britney Spears and Austin Powers.
Yeah. You could do a double header. The paragliding podcast, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I like the way you think, Sean. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Right. Yeah.
I think we should give something away.
Yes. You know what? 100. Right now, I've got 120 people in this wheel here.
Oh my gosh. Is there
and the
really
reason
that many
why
people? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was looking at a different screen.
Robert. We were at 100 when it was like 20 minutes into the show. Thank you, by the way. You know, just saying.
Leandra said I have to bring Aaron. I will absolutely bring Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need a road dog.
Yeah.
Roadie.
Well, not just a roadie.
She's a great road person.
Well, I mean, yeah.
She travels well with me. I'm serious. She keeps me awake. We did a 23-hour drive from Seattle all the way home. We never stopped. We just kept driving. She kept me alive. That was
Wow.
sleep driving. It's a really bad idea. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, don't do that. You
There's
don't wanna
Technology
do
in
that.
vehicles these days.
Get Red
All right.
Bulls.
Sleep and
Lots.
drive.
Lots of Red
So,
Bulls.
Here-
Dan
here we-
Roush donated
here we
$5 to
go.
the super chat.
Here we
You
go.
are
I'm
amazing.
done. I'm done taking names. I ain't taking no more
Yep,
damn
done
names.
taking
'cause
names.
I'm
You guys
done
don't
taking
even know
names.
what you're
Look at
about
this.
to win right now.
You know,
This is
yeah.
absolutely amazing.
You ready?
Craig Taylor
Spin it.
has donated
What?
a spot tracker. This is I'm going to pull up the Amazon for this real quick. You need to see this
there.
thing.
Let me stop sharing then.
Yeah,
so that
don't
way.
share for just a
It's
second.
too late. Okay, I
Boom.
cut it off.
Boom. Share. You can actually share multiple windows at once, but I'm just going to share this for a second. Spot trace tracker. Spot trace. So Wicked Wings logos is sponsoring this. That's the website, wickedwingslogos.com. If you go to their website, you can get logos printed for your wing. And I actually have a paragliding talk one that I have on one of my wings. Probably gonna have to get another one soon, by the way, for very reasonable price. They're custom made, and Craig Taylor, he is a master at making these things, and he did the homework to get the right materials, the right sticky aspect, and these things are really good. And the one that I have on my wing has stood the test of time, and it's in really great shape. So you need one. Michael Weatherspoon donated $20 to the super chat. Thank you, kind sir. That's very generous. New to the channel. Everybody should welcome this guy. Michael Weatherspoon, welcome.
Welcome aboard.
So glad that you're here. Pretty awesome, actually. Looks like he's in Vegas. So yeah, Craig, thanks for that. And this thing was kind of inspired. He did a giveaway back in the day. And because we were having this discussion about one of the most common missing things in free flight paraglider and paramotor guys is a tracker. And at the very minimum, you should get something like this tracking device, because if you go down in a place where you don't have cell service, you are going to be sending smoke signals, I guess. I don't know. What are you going to do? So anyways, pretty awesome. Craig Taylor, thank you for that. Wicked Wings logos. Go check out the website. Let's spin the wheel of windy things.
Yeah, so now I'm done taking names because the chat stops for no reason whatsoever, regardless of whether you say don't put your name in or put your name in or
Yeah.
don't say anything at all. It doesn't matter because it continues to go. Even though we're not spinning the wheel, it's still going. So
I know.
I'm done taking names at this moment on. No more names. Done. Boom. Ha ha. Here we go. 125 names in this wheel. Are we ready to spin, Robert?
Spin the wheel.
Here we go.
By the way, the spin of this wheel is brought to you by Wicked Wings logos and also Nebraska PPG. Josh Bowden, he runs a school in Nebraska. If you're interested in getting some top-notch training or even some mediocre training, you can sign up with Josh and his team today. There's a link in the description. He's an amazing human being as well. You'll really like his teaching style. He just yells at you the whole time, belittles you if you're not very... No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't do any of that. I control him a little bit. He got his moderation status for the show, and he's not even here tonight.
Oh, slacker.
He might just be lurking, Larry,
Yeah, it could
in the
be.
chat.
Could be.
Oh my gosh, is it going to be
What?
Leandra?
Oh,
Wouldn't that be
Oh my God,
funny?
please, please, please.
oh,
That's so close.
so,
So
close.
Oh, what did we
You know,
almost
people would be
win?
giving me fits about it being fixed if she had won. You know that, right?
Oh, man.
Brian Simmons, congratulations. You are the winner, chicken dinner. You have won yourself something else, because I feel like I've sent something to you already. You have won something else, my fine feathered friend. Congratulations. Reach out to, can I have him reach out to you, Craig Taylor?
Yeah, it's wickedwingslogo@gmail.com, and send me your info and we'll get that right over to you.
Can people send you an email
Woo.
if they want information about Wicked Wings logos at that email address?
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, I should have clarified. I never made a website for Wicked Wings, but it can be found on our Paramotor Nation,
There it is.
the information to contact me.
Very well. Confession time. I thought you had a website this whole time.
And
I went to look for it
Now-
one time.
Have
I will
we-
help
have-
you with that,
have
by the
we-
way, Craig. If you
have-
need help with that, I
have
I host 2 of them.
Have we brought up Para Orange? Robert?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
I know,
I'm
you're
watching out
busy
for
in the
my
chat
buddy
over there.
Larry, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was so busy with that wheel, I couldn't pay attention to what Anthony was saying. Now I got to rewatch it.
There are certain shows that I have to go back and watch again. By the way, if you want to follow the show and listen to just the podcast part of it only, we're doing that too now.
Yeah.
Just letting you know now. Link in the description.
Get
The
there.
show's also brought to you by iFly Powered Paragliding, iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. If you want to get some good paramotor training, no better place to get the proper training than iflyindiana.com. That's the website. Go sign up with Kevin and his team. They'll get your feet off the ground. No doubt about it. Gyro Jeffro asked in the chat, is there a website to buy AMSOIL from me? Yes, I sell AMSOIL. Now I'm a dealer. Got suckered into that, didn't I? Great deals, by the way. Just reach out to me, Gyro, if you need some. I've got all kinds of stuff. I don't have a website for that yet. Maybe there'll be one coming soon, but you can just message me. You have my information. And if you don't, you can go through paraglidingtalk.com, contact. Tell me what you're looking for, and I'll get you what you need. Let's get back to the nitty gritty. Anthony, I almost said Anthony Paragringo. Anthony Vella.
It's a compliment.
And did Gringo actually come and visit you at some point?
Yeah, he sure did.
Okay, that's
He
what I
came
thought.
down
Hey,
last
wait.
time I was in California.
Okay.
Hang on a minute. We got
Yeah.
Brian Simmons in here on the chat.
Yes.
He says, no thanks, guys. Spin again. I've got the Garmin InReach.
What? Amazing.
Well, that's
Come
okay. I
on.
can
Second
just
chance.
put that. I could just put that in my pocket since he's got one, you know, and it's no big
That
deal,
makes
right?
sense. That's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
the
that-
next best thing.
That sounds perfectly sane to me, right?
Oh,
So, all
man.
right. Well, if he says spin the wheel again, I guess I'm gonna have to, right? I mean,
I usually
know.
don't. I don't say bad words on the show, but my wife just donated $10 to the super
All right.
chat.
so I should spin it again, huh?
Yeah, spin it to
Okay.
win it.
Here
And then
we
we're gonna
go.
get back to this great content that
Here
we
we
have
go.
with
Spinning
Anthony
it.
Vella.
I know. And I'm sorry, Anthony, to take away this time. I know it's
No,
gonna
that's
be a-
okay.
no,
That
dude.
helps me
Long
to.
spin.
This is a time to put in the sponsors. This show is also brought to you by Lone Star Paramotor. If you're in the Lone Star state of Texas, reach out to Ron Turan and his team for world-class training. The website's LoneStarParamotor.com, and those guys are amazing, by the way. Go check them out. LoneStarParamotor.com. Also, this show is brought to you by Torrey Pines Glider Port. If you're in the sunny Southern California and you want to get some good training, Torrey Pines Glider Port. You can find them at flytorrey.com. That's FLYTORREY.com. Oh, it's going to be Chris Fenmore.
Oh no!
Oh, it's still, gosh, it's going so fast.
I know, right? That's all the names.
Oh, dude, you called it?
Nope.
Oh,
Want to fly.
Oh,
So greasy.
oh.
Wow, that was really close to Jack Burton.
1, 2, fly.
One to fly. One to fly. So I assume One to Fly. I've seen One to Fly. One to Fly has won a few things, and congratulations, you have won the spot. Reach out to my fine feathered friend Craig Taylor. And what is the email address one more time?
Wicked Wings logo at gmail.com.
Bingo. Shannon Brooks just donated $10 to the super chat. You're amazing. Thank you for that contribution to the super chat. I never got my t-shirt. What?
Oh,
Is
what?
this lies you speak? I will send that out right away. Please, Shannon Brooks, please reach out to me on the website, paraglidingtalk.com/contact, and put your information in your shirt size. I'll send you another one. I
Like
swear
those
I send out
t-shirts.
everyone's shirts. Okay, let's talk a little bit about. So we were mentioning this in the beginning of the show, and this is the best part of the content. Don't go anywhere. Everyone, just chill out for a second. This is really good stuff.
Okay.
You started off, and this is your words, aggressively. You you cut some corners in flying. You said, I was a little aggressive in the beginning. Talk about
What?
that.
My words? What do you
In
put
the
in words?
beginning.
I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, don't do it.
Yeah, for sure. So
Talk about
having a
progression.
yeah. So having a background in riding dirt bikes, and I was always big into jumping and things like that. My risk profile is higher than the average individual. And oh boy, as far as progression goes, for me, I feel like I've taken a different approach than the average individual, being that when I purchased my first paramotor was a Parajet Maverick. Fantastic paramotor. For those of you who don't know, Parajet Mavericks are a really cool paramotor. I purchased a Ozone Spider at the same time as well. However, during that time, the wait time on a Parajet Maverick back then was really long, and I paid for my Parajet Maverick, and I think they told me it would be like 3 months, 2 months, maybe something in that ballpark range. However, the glider that I ordered got in really quickly. So I spent so much time practicing with my glider that I am a big advocate, or for spending a lot of time on the ground with your glider. And it gave me a lot of confidence in learning how to fly the glider especially when it comes to launching in landings. Like, I've seen numerous people fail launching in landings, and by the time I eventually received my paramotor, my launches were 100% dialed in. And it's funny because people think I'm bragging, like, oh, you get every launch you attempt, aside from the one that I recently just destroyed. But up until that point, I had had successful launches all the time. Now, that's not to say that I didn't fail launches as I was learning, like kiting, every spare moment that I had. So first and foremost, if you can launch, then you're going to enjoy the sport, be more willing to continue with the sport, and fly at any given opportunity. That's also, I think, really important to progression, is having little breaks in between each flight. I know some people aren't afforded that opportunity, but for me, being that I was able to fly several times a week, I just felt as though I was one of my very first videos. I digress again. One of my very first videos, as I compared paramotoring to just any other sport. You cannot get into paramotoring and expect to just be good at it. Like, it's just as if you were playing tennis or football or basketball. You go out to the court and you practice shots from every different angle. When you fly a paramotor, a lot of individuals want to go out and recreationally fly, which there's nothing wrong with that so long as you're safe. But if it is your intent to progress to the point where you have maybe a flying style that's similar to my own, which is down low and very close to the terrain, following things, cutting through canyons, once again, your risk profile goes way up. However, these things don't come like right out of training. In fact, it takes an extremely long time to trust in yourself. At least for me, to have trusted in myself to be able to predict adversities that I might encounter. So for example, I get a lot of comments on the video of individuals who have my best interest in mind, I guess my best physical well-being in mind, and they're critiquing or perhaps thinking that I'm somehow unaware of the risk that I'm subjecting myself to, as if I'm not calculating it correctly. It's not that. It's simply that my willingness to accept risks goes beyond the average individual who enters into the sport. And it's calculated. I mean, and what I mean by that is, so I'm believe it or not, I know I look old as crap. I've been through war, spent a couple years in the hospital. Like, I'm 29 years old. I've been through hell. However, my and maybe that has something to do with my risk profile. Man, anytime I say that, I lose my train of thought.
You're like, I'm getting old. Gosh darn it.
Oh my God. Yeah, my birthday is next week, I think. I don't know.
I think it's about the beard.
28?
I think the
29.
people are
I'll be
concerned about
39.
what you're going to do to that beard is what that is. They're like, oh no, you
Right.
know how dangerous that is.
Right. It'll
They're
catch
thinking
on
about
fire.
your beard, you know, like
It'll catch on fire. I'll be clean baby face, and everybody unsubscribe. I don't want to see
Texas
that
grass
baby face.
isn't soft like Ohio grass. It's very sticky. It's
Oh,
got
this
the
is
pokies.
coarse. This is coarse. I've
Yeah.
got a bird in here. There's a bird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but when it comes to progression, I think, you know, like I said, the history of perhaps the military and riding dirt bikes. I'm an individual, and I say this time and time again. If you're the sort of individual who doesn't accept that higher risk, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and nobody should pressure you to fly outside of your own comfort level. Period. Nobody. However, I think that on the same, you know, I give individuals that respect. I don't judge you for flying, you know, high and slow, because I understand. I think it's a beautiful way of flying to get to see the scenery from up high. It's just not my cup of tea. I like to fly low. That's where I get the most, I guess, serotonin release in my brain. Okay. So if I may, I know I'm taking time. I met
This is your
individual.
Show.
Oh, what?
This is
Thank
your
you.
world, and we just live in it.
Paraglidingtalk.com. Yeah, I like it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I went down to the Camarillo Airport. I'm in Camarillo, California right now. I went down to the Camarillo Airport where they have this really big ultralight field. And somebody else was telling me, this guy, Greg, he sells Aerolite 103s. Super nice guy. I hope to buy one from him one day. He was telling me that, you know, in the time that he's been flying ultralights, he also has a very similar flying style to me, except he's on something that is a lot less forgiving if something goes wrong. Like, right, if you're in an ultralight, your risk of, you know, injuring yourself or potentially killing yourself is significantly higher than flying a paramotor, because the paramotor is not nearly as fast. And ultimately, it's that impact that results in fatalities the majority of the time, or drowning. I mean, obviously, we know about that. However, what I thought was so interesting was his ability to articulate why he enjoyed that style of flying. And when you're flying low and fast on a paramotor, or whether you're flying in an ultralight, whatever it may be, there is zero space available inside your brain to think about anything else in the world. So whether you've gone through hell and back in your life, for me, maybe, you know, Afghanistan, for other individuals, maybe, I mean, God, dude, so many people, and I know people who are listening to this have been through some stuff in their life. And when you have something that's persistently, like, I guess, chronically coming up, and it's maybe just like something even, or if it's just a daily stressor or something like that, flying low and fast demands your attention, so that for that time that you're flying low and fast, there's nothing else. Everything else in the world disappears, and you're completely consumed in the moment with what you're doing. I love that. I absolutely love that. So if I'm carving through a canyon, I'm like constantly assessing my weight shift, how much brake pull I'm doing, where my throttle position's at. I'm thinking about the rotor that's going to come up, that could potentially come off of that hill over there. I'm thinking, what if my spark plug shoots out right now and I'm forced to land? How am I going to crash land? I'm going to pick my feet up. I'm going to let the tank take the brunt of the force. I'm just so unbelievably consumed. But it took a long time to eventually get, let's say, lower into that canyon, or to even attempt certain canyons. And some of these I leave off of YouTube because, man, oh man, I tell you what, the peanut gallery, man, I tell you.
All that and
a bag of chips.
Not to mention your emergency out.
Right.
Where's your emergency out? You know what I mean? And that's on top of everything else that you just mentioned, your emergency out on top of that too, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
That's a lot.
By the way, Fausto47 donated $20 so he could say this. Quick shout out to all the new and aspiring pilots out there. Hope to fly with you someday. Also, shout out to Mitch G for selling me my first wing. Thanks, bud. That tickles the cockles of my heart. And thank you for your donation of $20. That's amazing. I feel inspired.
That is cool.
Wing It Woody donated $5. Anthony speaking the truth. Thank you for that super chat. You are super.
Thank
By
you.
the way, speaking of super, I got a visit from a super person.
No.
On one of my videos today, just before the show, actually.
It was pleasant, right? It was. I'm sure it was an
No, it was
inspiring
actually.
comment.
No, it wasn't the name, which no, Dell Sean. It was not Dell, but it was his nephew.
Oh, Trevor, I got one
Trevor.
too. Trevor
Yes.
Steele dropped by.
Yes.
That's very
He
cool.
must have the day off, so he was watching videos all day today.
Hey,
Very kind. He offered me to try out a flat top, and I might take him up on the offer. So,
do it. Do it, dude.
yeah. Yeah, you guys are amazing. I did have another question. This was from Gluteus Fannius. He said he wanted to ask Anthony, when are you going to have Weatherman Tom B on the podcast?
Ooh.
Is that an inside joke?
No, Tom. It's Thomas Bird. Yeah. So
Okay.
Thomas Bird is the actual. I believe he's like one of the lead meteorologists for all of El Paso, and he's one of the first individuals that we flew with. And so when I started the Paramotor podcast, it's like, okay, obviously I want to have the meteorologist on the podcast, but yeah, organizing podcasts that are recorded in person in like a studio are really a lot more challenging than people think.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything to compensate them like for their time, like literally. And so sometimes it's just hard to organize. The answer to your question is simply as soon as he's like available to be on the podcast and we have a topic, then by all means, like I would love to have the group of guys back on, get all back together. And it's the plan. So
did they already do it once before?
What's that?
They were already on the show once before?
Thomas Bird was actually like
the first episode.
He was on the second episode, which was What in the Weather.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. That's an amazing one, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the quality too. You put them together really nice, and the sound is really good. David Wolf asked a question, and question for Anthony L. Knowing that you're always taking video for your channel, how often do you fly without a camera just to enjoy the flight for yourself?
Great question. And thanks for the question, David. I like David a lot. David, as of recently, as I was discussing with Robert before the show, I haven't been taking my camera as much because I've been really trying to focus on the flying. He crashes. Yeah. I busted my camera. No. Honest to God, is the next video that I plan to share is going to be a lot more opinion based, like very deeply rooted in opinion, that won't have as much flying, and has a lot more to do with the FAA. So that affords me an opportunity to continue to fly when the conditions are great, and then get back to narrating and doing some more flying adventures. Yes, I hope that answers your question. I do fly frequently without cameras. And I was telling Robert actually just before the show started about a flight that I wish I had the camera on, where I got blown over the back of a mountain. Honest to God truth. I was flying over at the Franklin Mountains, which are really tall mountains in El Paso. Sean can attest to that. And I was flying up along the ridge. The reported weather, the forecasted winds were not nearly as strong as they ended up being. And when I went to go turn to return to base, I was making like 0 ground speed. And I basically was parked for like 20-30 minutes, just trying to get back to the other side of the mountain. I was outside of that lift band. So I was not below where the scariness starts. You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh my gosh, somebody in the comments, please help me out. If you're in the aviation field, there's a technological term, or like a very specific term. It's called it's not delamination. It's oh my gosh, somebody, what is it called when the wind loses that smoothness and then breaks into the rolling rotor?
Yeah.
Yes, but the technological term, like there's a scientific
Venturi.
term. No, it begins with a D.
I know what you're trying to say too, and I can't think of it.
Anyways, that's what comments for.
Craig Taylor just got out of school. He should know this. It's a
Yeah,
test
Craig. What's
question,
the
Craig
answer,
Taylor.
Craig?
Come on.
I gotta tell you, I've never read so many books that are thicker than my fist, and I don't think I retained much of it. But you put me in the cockpit, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there I was at this mountain, and ultimately I thought I had plenty of fuel. I just know that the wind wasn't going to change. It was getting later in the day. The winds, I suppose, only would get stronger, and so I was at about 10,000 feet or so, and I decided to turn and burn, baby. It's time to 180 and head as far from this mountain as I can and make my descent, and hope that I don't get into too much horrible weather or horrible rotor.
The deadly rotor.
Rotor, like Austin Powers magma rotor. Ultimately I did. I probably got several miles away from it, and then I dropped to the level where you start to feel that really intimidating turbulence. I was flying the Dudek Universal, which I was pretty thankful for. The glider was falling back and then surging forward, and I'd catch it, and then it was twitching. And I've never really seen the Universal be put through its paces quite like this. But I was impressed to see that, considering how bumpy of a ride it was. I guess anybody who flies paramotors on this is like, shut up, Anthony. You have no idea. We look for that stuff.
You're talking about free flight guys?
Yeah. Because you guys are always in the messy air, and
it's a little
us
messy.
paramotor folks are usually looking for smooth air.
Writing this down.
Delaminar.
I'm new to this whole paramotor thing.
Perhaps that's the word, delaminar.
Looking for smooth
Probably
air.
not.
It's close, Sean.
Yeah.
You're close.
Real quick, what's the future of the YouTube channel with the Paramotor podcast? What can people expect?
Oh yeah, so just basically all of the episodes that have already been posted, to include any new episodes, but additionally, I want to have it serve as a place where if I'm doing maintenance or if I'm doing I love to film. Cameras are one of my passions. I can quickly upload things that I don't, pull my hair out thinking about, like I do on my other channel. I put a lot of effort, mental effort into the videos I post, because I want to make a big influence I want to make the sport grow. So the Paramotor podcast is simply a place where I can just not have to consider as intently everything that I post.
Yep. Not the podcast part of it, but the Paramotor podcast channel on YouTube. I want to be specific on that. So Anthony Vella has another channel called the Paramotor Podcast. You should go and check that out. There's a link. Thank you, Craig Taylor, for putting that link. Actually, Craig Taylor has a public service announcement.
Yes, thank you, Anthony, for your service, and all of those veterans who are watching as well. And whether you are or are not, please go check out and support Resurgence PPG, 501c3 nonprofit for veterans by veterans. That program is fantastic and phenomenal, changing lives, not just for those veteran nominees, but also their families and friends. There are 23 nominees in the queue right now.
Nice.
And funding is definitely needed immensely to satisfy those candidates for training. So smile.amazon.com is a free way to give back. You're buying stuff from that supermarket anyway.
Yep.
And if you can donate directly, I'll put the link in the chat as well, resurgencepppg.com. Check your NOTAMs and TFRs. Lie safe.
Yeah. Thanks, Craig Taylor. I appreciate that. What an amazing show. We're going to go to the after show. Really appreciate everybody that's been supporting in the super chat. All the guys that are on PayPal and Patreon. Thank you for keeping the show going. Your contribution makes the skies a little safer. You might learn something that will save your life, and it's small. It's very cheap compared to buying 5 paramotors. You know what I'm saying? So consider contributing. Consider contributing. We're going to go to the after show. Thank you, Anthony Vella, for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, you are an awesome individual. Thank you for your always coming on the show. This is like the third time I think you've been on the show. So thank you.
Here's a good one.
Yeah.
Diurnal variation.
Diurnal? No.
You are.
He's still trying to find out.
Diurnal. That sounds like diarrhea, ventricle or something. But yeah, I don't know. I know it's a big word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is that we know.
Yeah. You guys are amazing. We're gonna go to the after show. Thank you. See you on the next one. If I don't see you on the air, I'll see you in there.